Hey guys, Caleb Breyer here, aka Blitz and Burst, and today I am joined by Collin Heier, third in the world, also known as the BattleRoom, who is here to share with us his day two nationals team. Hey Colin, just to start this off, we're gonna have a little icebreaker. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Um, I'd have to go with probably just classic vanilla. Yeah.
Just vanilla, not like vanilla bean,
No,
like
just no
specific.
vanilla bean. Just vanilla.
Okay. After that response, we're just gonna kind of jump into this team because you have no team building story at all, do you?
I mean I do, but I guess you don't want me to tell it?
Fine, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm interviewing you. You spill the beans.
not the vanilla beans.
Oh my god. Sure. So,
Okay.
you ended up placing 12th at nationals, which you thought was bad, but it was your first Nats top cut, man. I
Yeah.
thought you did fantastic.
Yeah, thanks. I
So,
definitely think I could have done better, but the resistances didn't roll my way and some bad matchups and I didn't really play well in one of my losses, but Hayden deserved that win.
hey, Hayden made worlds. You made worlds. You can get your revenge there.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. So you said you did have a team building story to go along with this team beforehand.
Yeah. So it all started the week before nationals, around probably Sunday, when I started to take serious team building time, and
A little late, don't you say?
a little late, yeah.
Okay.
And I hit up my good friend Michael Lanzano, Jive Time, and we both had no idea what we were gonna use, and we just started like kind of brainstorming and just throwing ideas off of each other.
Hmm.
And I felt really comfortable with Tyranitar, and I thought that Tyranitar was a good call for nationals, and Michael really didn't have an idea until about like Wednesday when he felt like Escavalier was the call for nationals. So
Okay.
we started. He made a team that consisted of Cresselia, Kangaskhan, Escavalier, Politoed, Zapdos, and Landorus T, because he loves Landorus.
Hmm.
So we were playing around with that. And I played around with it for like the entire day Wednesday, and then at around I'd say 10 o'clock at night, I started like laddering really hard with it, and I started switching in between Crow's team in case I wanted to use that as a backup team.
Hmm.
And I played with the team Jive and I made, and we hated Zapdos, we hated Politoed. We felt they were bad, but Politoed made sense with Cavalier.
Hmm. Just to
And
eliminate the fire weakness.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then Anash and Crow and Michael all started following me around on my alt on PS,
Oh,
just
fun.
watching, just watching me play.
Hmm.
Um, and I was just switching between Crow's team and the Escavalier team, and then Crow. I started talking to Crow a little bit, and I mentioned how I thought his team was the best team in the format so far.
I mean, you won a regional with it.
I did, and he got top four at a regional with it as well.
Hmm.
But he didn't really like it that much because of its weakness terrain. So I felt like that was an issue I could change about his team. Uh, but then I didn't make any changes. I basically fell asleep, woke up, and then we were on the road to Nats and
So
in
you're
the
on the
car.
road to Nats without a team.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm on the road. Well, I have Crow's team as a backup team, but I'm on the road and I'm like, okay, what do I use? So I put down Salamence Cresselia because I felt really comfortable with them, and
Okay.
Salamence is one of the better support megas. And then I put Escavalier down because I had like 10 hours of showdown practice with Escavalier,
Hmm.
so I felt
You
really
might as
comfortable.
well.
Hmm?
You might as well add it at that point.
Yeah,
It's
and I
fresh
felt
in
that
your
it
mind.
was a good call.
Hmm.
Um, and then I thought of adding Tyranitar because I thought he worked especially well in Trick Room, and I felt like he answered a lot of the meta. And then I was stuck at those four, and I was just walking around Indianapolis, just showing people my phone with the team builder, with those four Pokemon. Because people kept asking me, "Hey, do you have a team?" I'm like, no, but I have 4 Pokemon, and then I just show them my phone,
That's
and
basically a team.
then they would just offer their suggestions or whatever, and I was like, no, those are bad.
Mm.
So then at about 12 o'clock at night, standing in the hotel room with you and David, and we're just like sliding around the hallway on a chair, and we're discussing my team.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rotom, I always felt like Rotom was going to be the 5th Pokemon,
Yeah.
so I just didn't like accept it at that point.
I mean,
And then
previously you had used the Trick Room team with Rotom. You won your first regional with that, with the
yeah,
Mawile Uniclus team.
and then and David suggested Heatran, and then we basically had those Pokemon. Then I quickly bred my Pokemon, and then
And then you were like, oh, wait, I gotta lock my battle box. Oh, time to
oh yeah,
wake
that's
up and do
right.
that.
So I didn't lock my battle box the day before because I needed more time. So I
Because you
locked my battle
didn't have
box.
a team.
So I locked it in the morning, and then I competed and started the day off 1-2, which meant if I lost another game, I was out of top cut.
Jeez.
But thankfully, I went 6-0 and locked myself in for day 2.
Well, from that, I think we can delve deeper into your team. You started off here with Salamence. You said it's the stronger support mega. Why do you think it's a support mega? And like
Mainly because
I've seen a lot of teams focus on it supporting or the team supporting Salamence. Why do you think maybe it's better for Salamence to support the team?
I think especially with Trick Room, I think he's probably the best Mega on a Trick Room team right now
Okay.
because of his ability to help set it up with Intimidate, and because he creates this instant offensive pressure when you lead with him.
Mm-hmm.
So like my team isn't focused around Salamence, but I bring him most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I started with Salamence because he is like my most comfortable Mega right now, and I don't really have any others that I've been practicing with as much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the main reason I call him a support Mega is because my team doesn't like help support Salamence at all. It's more focused on Escavalier and Tyranitar.
That's true.
But like Salamence helps both of them survive attacks with Intimidate. He threatens like stuff like Terrakion, Kangaskhan that would give them problems.
Mm-hmm. Also a Moongus because
Amoonguss,
obviously
yeah.
a Trick Room team.
So it's more focused on making the team better than making Salamence the star of the team.
All right, that makes sense. And for the moves, you had Frustration, Earthquake, Draco Meteor. Do you think that was probably the best set for your team?
Yeah, I definitely had problems with Hydreigon.
Mm-hmm.
So Draco Meteor being able to Oko Hydreigon was huge, and then Earthquake and Frustration I just see as really good coverage because he really doesn't need anything besides Frustration.
Mm-hmm.
But Earthquake gives me coverage and helps me hit Heatran and potentially pick up 2 KOs when I need it because it's a spread move. So
Mm-hmm. We do see with your spread that you didn't have any special attack investment. In fact, you went adamant, basically max attack, max speed. What did the like bulk investment do, if anything, on the Salamence? Or did you
um,
just like hit a speed
I
checkpoint?
outsped Terrakion after Mega Evolving.
Okay.
I th- I think it was Terrakion. Yeah. So I outsped Terrakion
Mm-hmm.
after Mega Evolving, which was useful, and then the 20 HP gave me or no, I don't outspeed Terrakion. I outsped Garchomp.
Okay.
So which meant I outsped all the base 100s and such.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more focusing on like because I was adamant I wouldn't be able to outspeed Terrakion, so I
Mm-hmm.
gave myself a little bulk because I didn't need all that speed because I'd like I don't even know if there's like a base 104 Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
but there was no point for the speed unless I wanted to speed tie other Salamences, which I don't think many people run adamant Salamence anyways.
Well, if you did go Trick Room, that basically
Yeah.
ensured that you would be able to Draco other Mega Salamence. Okay, that makes sense.
hmm
And then you paired Salamence here with your Cresselia, which has a little unique niches to it. You ran Mental Herb and had a load of special attack on it. Can you kind of elaborate on some of these choices here?
Um. Well, I wasn't going to run Psychic on it, but I felt like my Conkeldurr weakness was pretty prevalent, especially because I knew Blake was running it, and I think Conkeldurr's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran Psychic instead of Toxic to help deal with Conkeldurr, And then Mental Herb was just like insurance, so Trick Room will always go up if I decide like I can't get taunted out of it. The only way they can stop it is with like Swagger or Sleep,
Mm-hmm.
which
Did you have Mental Herb on it before you added Psychic?
yeah,
Yeah, because it carried over from the version of Crow's team
yeah,
you used, so you did have
yeah.
Toxic helping and Trick Room. That makes sense with given that said. Would you have changed the item if you
Um
could?
yeah, I think I would, but I don't know, probably the Rocky Helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Because it never activated at Madison or at Nationals. I think part of it could also be just like in general scouting, like
Mm-hmm.
people hear about it or they know that I run Mental Herb. So,
That's fair. Well,
but
I
it is a
mean,
deterrent.
with the scouting, that means they know they can't. But if
Yeah,
you know that they know, that's like mind games. It's limiting their options anyways. So.
yeah. So like even if I didn't get taunted at Madison, like
Mm-hmm.
I think I scared away one or two people from actually attempting to taunt because of the fact that they already knew I had Mental Herb. So.
That's fair.
It accomplishes the job whether it activates or not because they're not going to taunt me, and if
Mm-hmm.
they don't taunt me, then Trick Room's still going up.
That's good.
And then the special attack, I believe, was to I think it was a roll on Salamence,
Okay.
regular Salamence if I caught it on a switch.
So it wouldn't be able to knock out Mega Salamence.
No.
Okay. I mean, I guess it helps that you also have Psychic, just kind of more
Yeah.
general special attack investment, like more offensive pressure. You did mention to me before I started recording some combo you had just with Cresselia and another Pokemon, but we can get to that later. Did you have well what did the bulk do on Cresselia? Is it like general
The
bulk?
defense I believe was for a Life Orb knockoff.
Okay, from
The
Bishop.
HP was to take one less from Sand because I obviously had a Tyranitar.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, since Tyranitar is not too popular, that's not something I EV for as much anymore. But since I had my own Tyranitar and Cresselia is so bulky anyways, I wanted her survivability to be as best as possible. So
Okay.
it'd take one less damage from Sand, which it's just a small thing you can do to help improve
Mm-hmm.
like a spread or something. And then the special defense I believe was just dumped
Okay.
because her special defense is massive anyways that you can live like any special hit. I don't think she can be OHKO'd by anything special. And physical, obviously, there's only like one thing, which is banded Bisharp knockoffs.
How convenient.
Yeah.
Um. Well, what was I gonna say? You did go zero speed IV as well.
Yeah.
It's just general trick room stuff. And
Yeah.
then the next member you had being Escavalier. You felt like I mean you said you played a lot with Escavalier, but you felt like it was a good call going into nationals. Can I just safely assume it's because of the Gardevoir usage, like
Yeah. Mainly
specifically Gardevoir Amoonguss?
the Gardevoir Mungus teams are definitely like
Mm-hmm.
the main thing Escavalier's targeted at. And usually those teams include like Heatran, Landorus, Thundurus, and who's the last one? Heatran, Landorus, Thundurus, Gardevoir, Amoonguss.
Amoonguss.
I'm blanking on it.
Why are we blanking on this? Whatever, that's not important.
Yeah, but Rafa's team.
Yeah.
What was his last one? Scrafty.
Scrafty. Yeah.
That was like the traditional archetype that the Gardevoir Mungus started from, and
Mm-hmm.
Escavalier is like he really doesn't have a bad matchup against any of the Pokemon, like
Yeah, you got
except for
Mega
Thundurus and
Horn for
Landorus.
Scrafty potentially.
Yeah, but even at -1, he will do. He's 2 KOs Landorus,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not too big of a deal. The only one that like absolutely walls him is Thundurus, but Meghorn still does over 50%. So
Yes.
he
That's a
was
really
mainly
good statement.
designed to threaten those teams and also like any Gardevoir because I expected Gardevoir to be pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
He also can OHKO Kangaskhan with Helping Hand Megahorn.
Ooh.
He can OHKO Heatran if they don't have Shucker Berry, and since Nationals was best of 3, I could find out in a game if I sacrificed Escavalier.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot for Heatran as it was.
It's a
Every
safe
Pokemon
option.
could potentially OHKO it or KO it except for Cresselia.
Yeah. Which we don't really expect Cresselia to KO
Yeah.
anything. Okay.
So he was definitely a good call. He also threatened the fairies in
Hmm.
Sylveon, and I guess Azumarill.
Did you face any Mega Gardevoir at Nationals though?
I actually faced 0, I believe. Or I think I faced a team that had double Mega with Gardevoir and Kangaskhan, but they brought Kangaskhan.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. I
But
would I would expect Kangaskhan to come out in that situation, just given how hard Escav gives a hard time to Gardevoir.
yeah, because Cam's Jihadi, he had the national champion team with a Sylveon over I believe the Landers,
Hmm.
and like that it was also Escavalier plus Tyranitar helps deal with the Japanese national team,
Oh,
and I
the
wanted to have
Japanese
a good,
national team. Okay.
yeah, I wanted to have a good matchup versus the first place team.
Hmm.
So Escavalier helped accomplish that.
That's good. And so that's basically your first real strong Trick Room sweeper. Then
Yeah.
the second one you had was Assault Vest Tyranitar. Kind of a big difference between this team and you mentioned the team you had in the back was Crow's team. You did mention the rain weakness with that team. Well, with Tyranitar, specifically Assault Vest, that definitely improves the Trick Room team's rain matchup tremendously.
And the main thing about rain teams is that like they don't really have often they don't have too much that threatens Salamence.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can change the weather, Salamence can actually like start doing major damage to rain teams along with
Agree.
Rotom-Wash. So
Yeah, definitely really good rain matchup on your team, I have to
yeah.
say. So you went with a Rock Slide, Assurance, Low Kick, Ice Beam. We do see, even though you were a Brave Tyranitar, you have 84 speed. Can you kind of point out why such a
Um
unique speed stat right there?
I ran 84 speed to outspeed Cresselia in Trick Room, so Cresselia would be able to Psychic or Ice Beam, and he would be able to Assurance, which gave me
Mm-hmm.
KOs on Pokemon like Gardevoir, Aegislash.
Okay, Gardevoir
Um,
too. Okay.
yeah, and it allowed also like if I just wanted to basically nuke something,
Mm-hmm.
Assurance plus Psychic or Ice Beam is going to do a lot, and it made for a lot of safe plays where I could try to catch Landorus's on switch-ins because
Mm-hmm.
I could Ice Beam and Assurance like a Charizard who took a little damage, so he'd be KO'd anyways. But if it
Mm-hmm.
went into Landorus, he would also be KO'd. So I could threaten a lot of like they would lose potential switch-ins just based on the Ice Beam plus Assurance.
That's smart.
Um,
Because you don't want to ice beam with your own Tyranitar in that situation. Like, you
yeah,
wouldn't want to go for that hard of a play, because Cresselia is not doing much else anyway, so it
yeah.
might as well help you out there.
So and then I tried to find a way to make this speed so I didn't have to invest 84, but like I would have to take out of one of his defensive natures, and this Tyranitar, like I'm running Assault Vest, so taking out of one of
Mm-hmm.
his natures is definitely not, or one of his defenses is not gonna help with a nature. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to invest the speed, and then I had to invest a lot of special attack to Oko Landorus's. Um, it Oko's 4 HP Landorus, but the bulkier ones have a chance to live.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a spread initially that Oko'd the bulkiest Landorus we've seen, which was Major Bowman's Landorus.
And
So
bulky bandlanders, yeah.
yeah, so I had to take out of special attack so I could have the 84 speed while I was building the spread.
Okay.
Um, Tyranitar was definitely the MVP of nationals.
Okay.
I felt like a lot of people weren't going to be prepared for him because they kind of thought he fell off the face of the earth. But Tyranitar is, in my opinion, the best Pokemon in the game, and will be the best Pokemon in the game. Like no matter what format we've been in, he's dominated or has been like viable and a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we think like everything's against him, he's still a great Pokemon.
What
Um,
was that? Has he been, like, in the finals, or has he won Worlds every year that he's been legal? Something like that?
he didn't win last year, but
Yeah.
he's been in finals since 2012.
Jeez, yeah.
2012, 2013, 2014,
I'm
and
also just impressed that you're able to get those like assurance knockouts with just 12 attack investments. Brave. That's kind of crazy. I mean, Gardevoir is like a piece of paper in terms of defense, anyways. But
yeah, but Aegislash, he's
yeah,
pretty good.
that's a big one. Definitely.
But I mean, it's a base, I believe 80, yeah. or 60. But it doubles if the target was damaged.
So that's
So
base
120,
120 stat,
120
super effective move.
dark move is not something to laugh at. So
Definitely not, especially since Egg Slash aren't exactly defensively invested because they're going to take like Bisharp attacks anyways, unless they're
yeah,
choice banded, which we know you had a lot of trouble with choice band
yeah,
Bisharp. Anyway, moving on. So this concludes your like 4 Pokemon you just kind of held on your phone for like
yeah,
your trip to nationals. You were at nationals, just 4 Pokemon. At
yeah.
this point, David Mancuso and I were like, "You really need a team, Collin. Let's get you some, maybe 2 more Mons, maybe. Not gonna
Maybe, yeah,
lock 4 Pokemon into your battle box. Um, so the rest of your team's pretty safe. I know relatively a lot about the rest of the team. Just a standard Rotom, right?
hmm
I mean,
Um,
you said
it
it basically like the equivalent of Thunderous on Crow's team.
Yeah, it
Like,
was it helped my matchup against Crow's team because I expected more people to use it because I thought it was really good.
mm-hmm,
Um, but the spread's pretty basic. It lives or it's got the HP numbers, so Citrus Berry will activate if they Super Fang me.
mm-hmm.
Um, the special defense lets me live Charizard, Solar Beams 95% of the time,
Yeah, with that calm
and
nature.
and then the rest was in defense. So it wasn't like too special of a spread, but it did what I needed. I wanted a better Charizard matchup.
I mean, I can't think of any better way to invest your EVs into a Rotom
Yeah,
on this team anyway. So,
and I wanted him to be able to switch to answer Heatran, so I needed him to be able to take hits. So
mm-hmm. I mean, investing in special attacks not gonna change your matchup
yeah,
with Heatran anyways. So, well, speaking
and
of
since Chris,
Heatran,
yeah, well, since Cresselia didn't have since she had Mental Herb, I was able to give him Citrus as well, which helps a lot against Kangaskhan.
that's true. Well, basically with Rotom, it's kind of a situation where if you're not running like an offensive Rotom, it needs the citrus berry, so
Yeah.
it's the one limiting your item choices on everything else. That's what I experienced in team building. So, well, anyways, like I said, speaking of Heatran, we had our own special Heatran here, courtesy to Toquil, British player, who made the spread for my Nats team, which I was like, dude, Colin, this is like the best Heatran spread ever. Use it. So it was a Shuckaberry Heatran, which I thought was going to be really popular going into nationals with the spread lets it live any hit from Landorus T except for boosted Earth Power, which you're not really gonna see at all. So like it takes the superpower and takes the earthquake.
Yep.
And so what why did you like why did you let me convince you to use this like set? Why did
Um.
you think it fit on your team?
Well,
Because I had
since
a
I had
completely different
Salamence,
team.
Cresselia, Escavalier, Tyranitar, and Rotom, and they're all very weak to Bisharp.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely wanted something that could just outspeed and KO Bisharp, which Heatran does.
Mm-hmm.
And so that the speed made sense. And then I also wanted an answer for Charizard Landorus leads because I felt like my team was kind of weak to that, and so
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be able to threaten Landorus and Charizard while like with Heatran, but while I could also but I needed to live Landorus's hit, so I could live Earthquake and threaten back with Heat Waves or Overheats. Um, I also had problems with Aegislash at this point because I
Which
really only had Tyranitar,
yeah,
so
which
Overheat made a
overheat
lot of
just
sense.
nukes it. It's like
Yeah.
get out of here.
And even though Escavalier has Overcoat, Amoonguss is still annoying, so
Mm-hmm.
Overheat again can just nuke Amoonguss. So Overheat was definitely like when you guys told me to use Overheat, like that was the reason that sold me Heatran because
Mm-hmm.
I felt Overheat was what uh made this Heatran good. And then Earth Power for the Heatran mirrors, Heat Wave for spread, and just in general he like glued everything together. He
Mm-hmm.
gave me more resistances to Fairy and Dragon.
I mean, you do
No,
have 2 steals on this team, so
yeah,
fairies definitely Well, it's good to have the two. Like those are your two resists because you had two weaknesses, and
Mhm.
fairies being like ever present thing with Pixelate Hyper Voice. That's very important to have on your team
He
specifically.
was still also pretty bulky in general, like Heatran is, but
Mm-hmm.
he was more offensive in on this team than the Heatrans I've used in the past. Because I've actually used on every single team I've used in 2015 so far at regionals, so
Okay.
he's definitely a Pokemon I'm comfortable with, and I think this Heatran, like for nationals, this was my like I couldn't see myself using a different Heatran because Overheat was just so good.
I mean, the rest of the team had all the bulk you needed, so
Yeah.
what more could you want? I was toying with. I didn't recommend this to you, but like hidden power ice on the Heatran, but just the general power with overheat was what sold it for you and for me with this set, and it's just I thought it was amazing. So glad to hear you enjoyed it as well. So with that team wrapped up, how do you think the overall team like worked together? Were there like parts that you didn't think quite mesh well together?
Um, I think the team meshed well. Like the assurance synergy was always there with because if Trick Room was up, Cresselia and Escavalier would be able to proc the assurance boost, and if Trick Room
Mm-hmm.
wasn't up,
Everything else would.
Rotom, Heatran, and Salamence would be able to, and
Mm-hmm.
ideally Salamence wouldn't be next to Tyranitar if Trick Room was up. So the team, I never got in a position where something like that happened, where Rotom was in with Tyranitar and Trick Room was up. There wasn't really anything that conflicted. They all had different coverage. Like even though I ran double steel, they had none of the same. They had Drill Run and Earth Power, but
Mm-hmm.
then Heatran had his fire moves, and Escavalier had steel move and a bug move. So
So like completely different roles, just
yeah,
similar
completely different roles.
resisting and
Yeah,
typing. Okay.
and then the Salamence never really lets me down. He's a good mega.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Uh,
it was the only mega you were testing, but like
yeah,
you had no reason to deter from it. It's just
yeah.
that good.
I like physical Salamence more than special, but I do respect special. But I
Mm-hmm.
felt on this team, physical Mence got what I needed done. Um,
I mean, especially with adamant, your frustration was zero happiness, definitely doing quite a lot of damage.
and you always run frustration because you never want the Smeargles to transform into you, and then because Smeargles will have to max their happiness in case they
Mm-hmm.
transform into Kangaskhan. So if they transformed me, I was ready. I did not play any transform Smeargles, but I was ready.
Okay, always prepared, Collin Heier. It's glad to know. On that note, I guess we're all finished up. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm glad I could interview you, Collin, with this
Hmm?
team. I hope you're happy with your placement, cutting nationals. I mean, we'll see you at Worlds, so that'll be
Yep.
exciting. I subscribe if you want. Our Twitters are up here. I'm at Blitzenburst. Above you, Collin, it says at Collin Heier. That is not how you spell his last name, but that is his Twitter handle. Okay, so I've been Caleb, and
I've
this
been
is
calling.
Collin, third in the world, and I hope you enjoy this video. All right, thanks for watching.